Today we're going to be learning about elapsed time. I need you to go get pencil and paper. You're going to need paper today. We're not going to use the math book because I've selected problems for us. So pause and go get pencil and paper. Okay, so elapsed time. A couple of weeks ago we did time to the minute, which means that we looked at a clock and we read the clock and determined what time it was. Well, today we're going to do elapsed time, which means the amount of time that passes between one point of a time or another. So I'm going to do, first of all, some problems that to show you how to do it. Then we'll do some word problems that kind of put it into perspective for you. And then we'll kind of mix our two skills of time to the minute and elapsed time. So when I do elapsed time, I like to use a number line when I'm teaching this. So I want you to draw a number line. Now, on the number line, we're going to have our start time and our end time. So we have a 5 o'clock start time and a 7:30 end time. What I like to do is think of what I would do in real life, and what I would do is count by the hour. So I would say 5 to 6 o'clock is 1 hour. 6 to 7 o'clock is another hour. And then 7 to 7:30 is not an hour, that is 30 minutes. And what I like to do is put the hours at the top and the minutes underneath. That way it keeps them separated. And then to find the elapsed time, I find out how far is it from 5 to 7:30, so I put those together. So I have 1 hour, 2 hours, and we have to write it out, and then 30 minutes. Now, the reason we do that, we can't put 2:30. We can't do that. That is a time. That is not an amount of time. That is a specific time. So this is not right. We have to write it out with words. Okay? All right. So, next one. Then we have start time is 3:30. End time is 5:30 a.m. So from 3:30, we would have 3:30 to 4:30. That is 1 hour. And then 4:30 to 5:30 is another hour. So guys, that's pretty easy. All I do is count the hours. That's 2 hours. If I'm doing this without a piece of paper, I might just be counting on my fingers those hours and then counting up the minutes. Okay, draw another number line. Anytime I'm going too fast, you can always pause and rewind, go back. So don't just keep going. Pause and make sure you're with me. Okay, so I'm going to start at 11 and go to 1:30. Now I have 11 to 12 o'clock. That will be the first hour. And then I have 12 to 1 o'clock. There's another hour. And then I have 1 to 1:30. That's 30 minutes again. So I have 1 hour, 2 hours. We can shorten that to 30 minutes. 2 hours and 30 minutes from 11 to 1:30. Now notice this PM and AM changes because remember at 12, that's when that shifts over. So that's why that change from PM to AM. All right, because 11 PM, then this goes to 12 AM and 1 AM. And remember, this is midnight, 12 a.m. midnight. So there's some more of your time skills involved there. All right, so we have 2:30 and 6:30. Okay, so, sorry about that. Let's get back. 2:30 and 6:30. I can't write right there. I'm going to mess up. Okay, so 2:30 to 3:30 is 1 hour. 3:30 to 4:30 is another hour. 4:30 to 5:30 is another hour. 5:30 to 6:30 is another hour. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 hours. All right. If you want to, pause and try the next one on your own. If not, do it with me. Okay, so we have 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Remember, at 12 o'clock, that's where the a.m. p.m. changes. Okay, so we have 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, and then we have 12 to 12:30. So 9 to 10 is 1 hour. 10 to 11 is 1 hour. 11 to 12 is 1 hour, and 12 to 12:30 is 30 minutes. So that is 3 hours and 30 minutes. All right, now this one is kind of a little different, but we will have to come up with our times. 7:30 a.m. Now this is in words, so when you think about what is half of an hour, well, that's 30 minutes. So this time would be 7:30 a.m. 7:30 p.m. That would be 7:30 p.m. Okay, we can do this here. Remember, it's gonna go, we're gonna count to 12 and then move up. So 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30. Oh, this is going to be hard. 1:30, 2:30, 3:30. I'm going to have to go down here. 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30. And this is kind of weird because I didn't have enough room, guys. But that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, from here to here, 11, from here to here, 12. And that makes perfect sense. But that's 12 hours. Here's why. From 7:30 to a.m. to 7:30 to p.m. would be half of a day, right? And how many hours are in a day? 24. So half of a day is 12. All right, let's look at some word problems that put this into our real life perspective. Jessica puts cookies in the oven at 7 a.m. They need to cook for 18 minutes. What time should she take the cookies out of the oven? So if we add 18 minutes to 7 a.m., then that would be 7:18 a.m. So that's not too hard, is it? All right, number 2. Sarah rents a movie that is 1 hour, 24 minutes long. She starts watching the movie at 5 p.m. So if we do our number line, and we do, sorry about that, let me do that again. Starting at 5, and we go 1 hour. So from 5 to 6 will be 1 hour. And then 24 minutes, it would be 6:24 p.m. So 5 to 6, 6 to 6:24. That's kind of how I counted in my head. Okay, number 3. Michael begins reading his book at 8 a.m. He stops reading at 9:04. How long did Michael read his book? How long? There's your elapsed time. So we have 8 to 9. There's your 1 hour. And then 4 more minutes. So he read 1 hour, 4 minutes, right? You guys can figure that out. Okay, number 4. Bob left for his grandmother's house at 5 a.m. He drove for 2 hours and 22 minutes. So if it starts at 5 a.m. and he drives for 2 hours, this would be 6. This would be 7. There's your 2 hours, and then 22 more minutes would be 7:22 a.m. is when he arrives. Number 5. Paul and Norm worked on a project from 3 to 4:13. So he started at 3 to 4, that's 1 hour. 4 to 4:13, so that's 1 hour and 13 minutes. Not too tough. One more. Cassandra's watch says it's 2 p.m. She will go to dinner in 3 hours and 20 minutes. So if we start with 2 and go 1, 2, 3, that's 3, 4, 5, and then 20 more minutes. So that would be 5:20 p.m. I like to count the hours on top and the minutes underneath just to kind of keep them separate. I think that's a good strategy as you're learning. Okay, so let's try that with a couple more. And these, what we're going to do is we're going to read the clock first and then do the elapsed time. So you might want to pause the video, try this on your own, and then we'll see if we can, if you got it right. Okay, if you're reading this clock on the left, this is 10 o'clock a.m. If you're reading this clock on the right, it's 12:30 p.m. Now remember, at 12 is where it changes from a.m. to p.m. So if I'm doing elapsed time and I start at 10, I have 10 to 11, 11 to 12, and then 12 to 12:30. So that's 1, 2 hours and 30 minutes. Okay, let's try another one. Pause the video, you try, and then check. So this first one, remember, since it's between the 2 and the 3, that it's still 2. So this one is 2:30 a.m. And then this one is 4 o'clock a.m. This is while you're asleep, guys. This is the 2 and 4 while you're asleep. Okay, hopefully you're asleep. You shouldn't be awake at 2:30 a.m. Okay, so if I go to 2:30 on this one, I want to go from 2:30 to 3 to get to the next hour. And then I want to go from 3 to 4. So I have 1 hour and 30 minutes. So this one's kind of a little different because you had your minutes first getting to the next hour and then had a whole hour from 3 to 4. Okay, pause the video and try this one. 4 o'clock a.m. 7 o'clock a.m. Again, remember this is before you wake up. This is while you're asleep. And we have, if we do the elapsed time, we have 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7. That's 1, 2, 3. So that's 3 hours. If I'm counting in my fingers, I do the same thing. 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7. And that's how I do it in real life, is just counting on my fingers. Okay, pause the video and do the last one. This one is 3 a.m. And then this is just 3:30 a.m. Remember, it hasn't gotten to the 4 yet, so that means it's still 3:30. That means the only elapsed time here is 30 minutes. Okay, if you're having trouble with this, go ahead and rewatch it. Do it again. Do some more by yourself. And then the practice today will have a few of these questions on it, but then have some other review.